So what we're going to do now, see any more coming? Seems to be okay. I'll let them in soon. So remember the last few lessons we've been using the standard form for the equation, the vertex form. So you don't need to copy this unless you really want to, but if you copied, you have to be fast. All right, but I'll save the file and I send in the line group too. So for your vertex form, we're in the form y equals a x minus h squared plus k, where hk was the vertex. Remember that? So if it's already in this form, it's actually, they're quite easy to do, aren't they? We can write the vertex very easily, but many times the question is not in this form, it's just in the general form. So y equals, let's write the general form, which is ax squared plus bx plus c. Okay, so very often the question would be written like this. And I want to know what is the vertex from this. But the problem is it's not in the right form, is it? I can't see h and k when I look at this here. So we need to know how to change this form to this form here, the vertex form. But you know how to do this already because you can complete square already. So your completing square idea is what you use. So let's take a look at how to do this. I'll use the example that I gave in the last class. So y equals x squared plus 6x plus 2. So we'll use this example here. Let me make that bigger size. Okay, so x squared plus 6x plus 2. And we want to change it to the completed square form. So we use the ideas that we used a couple of weeks ago when we completed square. So the problem now is that we've got a y here. We don't have 0. You see, we've got a y, it's not 0. So what we've got to do here is take our middle number as we did before. So x squared plus 6x. So our middle number here is 6. So remember before we were taking that number, we're dividing it by 2 and then we were squaring it. And in this case, we'll get 9. So this is our special number that we need to add back to our equation here. So we'll add 9 here. But because you've added 9 to your equation, we've changed it. So if you add 9, you need to subtract 9. So your special number needs to be added first and then subtracted, because 9 minus 9 is 0, right? So these are still equal. And then add the 2 from here. So you can see these equations are the same, aren't they? Because 9 minus 9 is 0. So these are equal. We did that because now I can complete square here. All right, with that bit there. So I will go y equals x plus, which is the sign, and the square root of 9 is 3, like that, all squared, and minus 9 plus 2 is minus 7. So now this form, this general form became the completed square form. So when you do that, now we can see our vertex. So our vertex is minus 3 from here, because that's plus. So remember, x plus 3 is x minus negative 3. Okay, so our h value is minus 3. Basically change that sign. That's all you need to do. And then this is minus 7. So this is your vertex. So this is one way to get the vertex from this form. So those who have just came in, you don't need to copy this. I'll save the file as PDF and I'll put in the line group. Okay, so this is how do you get your vertex. So if you want to graph it, we can start graphing it. So we've got -3, -7. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 down here. And notice your A value is positive. You've got a positive x squared here. Not yellow, it's pink here. So this means your graph will go up because A is positive x squared. So your graph will go up in the positive direction. The other thing to note is your Y-intercept, which is this number here. You see that +2? So this is your Y-intercept. That's another thing to note here, which is 1, 2 here. So we have this point and we have this point. So we can basically draw our graph fairly okay. So I'll do that. Hold on. So we'll go up to the 2 like that. And then that will turn and go in that direction like that. So that would be roughly what your graph looks like. And think back what else we can put on here. We can put on the line of symmetry. So we'll make that red. So I don't like to remember formulas. If I can avoid the formula, I will avoid formula because there's too much in my head. I don't want to be bothered remembering formulas. So x equals -3. I always start with graphs. So I've got my vertex. I know the shape goes up. So I know it must be going in the upwards direction. And my line of symmetry comes from this number. And this here will be your minimum. So your minimum value is -7. So we could write that. Y equals -7, if you like. So this is the minimum value here. Now, the other thing you'd like to do is find the X-intercept and Y-intercept, which are here, especially the X-intercept. My color's not very good, but we want to be able to find these points here. This is your Y-intercept here, which is actually 0, 2. So let's write that again, 0, 2. That's the easy one. That comes from your equation here. So when x is 0, y will be 2. That's that there. So when x equals 0, so if you put 0 in your equation, you'll get y equals 2. Y equals 2. So that's your Y-intercept. These ones are a bit harder to get, but if you look at these carefully, you're going to have a coordinates, aren't you? Here and here, and this point will be there. So at this point, y will be 0 because this is your y-axis. So y will be 0 here and here. Okay, but we want to find the x value. So here I've let y equals 0. So let's write that here. So let's find x-intercepts. So we let y equals 0. So I'll put 0 into my completed square form down here. So let's write that down. So y equals x plus 3 squared minus 7. So we let y equals 0 because on these points, y will be 0. So I put 0 into here for y, which is what I've done here. And then all I need to now do is solve for x. So we'll bring the -7 over. So x plus 3 squared is 7. Like before, we square root both sides. So x plus 3 is plus or minus √7. So x will be -3 plus or minus √7. So this will be these 2 points here. And I don't have a calculator, but we can write them as -3 plus √7, -3 minus √7. So I'm thinking the bigger number will be this one here. So this is going to be -3 plus √7. And this one would be -3 minus √7. So this is one way you can find your X-intercepts. I'll show you some more in a minute. So I'll save this file. This one has already been done with the other class, this question. So let's save it. And I'm going to clear this screen now, okay? So don't bother to copy anything, just try to follow. That's the main thing. Why don't we do another one that's similar? And maybe you can try yourself first. So let's write a question. So this will be example 2. Let's use black. So let's make up one. Y equals, we should do the one that's in my note. So x squared minus 5x plus 3. So we try this one. So we want to make this in completed square form. So y equals a, x minus h squared plus k. So we're trying to change this to look like this. It's exactly the same graph. If you graph them, they will be the same, but just looks different. So notice now your middle number is -5. Okay, so we'll take that number, we halve it and square it. So you can do this with me, or you can, you're going to do one soon, so you can just listen now, I think. So y equals x squared minus 5x. So add your special number. That's 25 on 4, isn't it? So 25 on 4. Subtract that number, don't forget, and then add your 3 back. So these equations are equal. Nothing's changed. The graph would look the same. So now this is your completed square form here, just like you did 2 weeks ago. So we're going to have x. The sign is minus. This is 5 on 4, all squared. So these are equal. This part is equal. It's just a complete square now. So minus 25 on 4. And now I'm going to make this 12 on 4. Because 12 on 4 is equal to 3. I did that, so now I can easily add the fraction. So you should learn how to do this by hand. If you can, that would be a good idea. So x minus 5 on 4 squared. Now this would be minus 13 on 4. So now you see we've changed from your general form to the standard form. We can mark that here. Okay, so these are equal. The graph is the same, but we did that, so now we can see the vertex. So the vertex is x minus h. So 5 on 4. Oop, 5 on 2. You see my error there? I just noticed it then. 5 on 2. That's the problem when you do it live. You can end up with some errors here and there. When I make a video, I can get rid of the errors and retape it, but not with live. So that's going to be 2. And minus 13 on 4. That's okay. Like that. So I'll usually see it at the end, so I'm checking with my notes. So this is your vertex. Okay, now there is a quicker way to get this number here. You see this number? This is your line of symmetry, isn't it? So I'll show you another way to get the vertex. And this has a formula, x equals minus b on 2a. Very useful formula for the vertex, the line of symmetry, which is this number here. Okay, so we can get this fairly easily, this number. We don't actually have to do all of this work to get this number here. So let's check how the formula works. We'll have x equals minus b. Now go back to your equation. B is minus 5. You see at the top there? So that's -5. All on to a. A is 1, which is this number in front. So you're going to get 5 on 2. So this is correct. So we know we did this number correctly. So you can use this as a check. C-H-E-C-K. Yeah, I'll write that again. So you can use that as a way to check this number here. So use this formula, and that will give you this number here, which is the line of symmetry formula, actually. So if we were going to graph it, I won't find the X-intercept here because it's a bit messy and I don't have it in my notes. But I can get it with my photo math if you want. So our line of symmetry, so 5 on 2, that's 2.5. 1, 2 here. So you'll get a line of symmetry here, which is X equals 5 on 2. And the Y value of the vertex is a minus 13 on 4. That's 12, like 12 and a quarter, minus 12, 4, minus 3 and a quarter. So that's down here somewhere. So let's just write it, 5 on 2 and minus 13 on 4. And your Y-intercept is 3. So that number can be written up here, 1, 2, 3. So that's when X is 0. So if you put 0 in here, you'll get Y equals 3. So that's 0.03, which is basically this number here. If it's -3, it will be down here. So we know our graph goes this way. So let me draw that. And go up like that. We won't bother with the X-intercept because it's a little bit messy and takes time. But you can do that if you want to yourself. So what you would do, you can use a quadratic formula as well. You can use quadratic formula. I think we'll use quadratic formula to do this, and I'll show you how to do it. So we let Y equal 0 again, and I'll use my original equation. So x squared minus 5x plus 3 equals 0. So now we'll just do the quadratic formula to get these points here. That's one way you can do it, or you can do it the way I showed you earlier with this formula here. But this has fractions. I'm just going to leave that alone for now. So we use the quadratic formula. So x is minus b plus or minus b squared minus 4ac all on 2a, okay? So then just stick your numbers into the formula. So you're going to get 5 plus or minus 5 squared is 25 minus 4 times 1 times 3 all on 2a, which will be 2. So 5 plus or minus 25 minus 12 is 13. So root 13 on 2. So this will be your X-intercepts. This is why we learn how to solve equation. And this is one application for graphing. So we'll have 5 plus root 13 on 2, 5 minus root 13 on 2. So the bigger number will be this one with the plus root 13. So 5 plus root 13 on 2, 0. And this one would be 5 minus root 13 on 2, 0 for the Y value. Well, that's how you do it. That would give you the X-intercept using the quadratic formula, right? So I'll save this file, just keep watching and you can refer back to it later because I may give you a sheet maybe in the first week, or maybe if you want to do it, I'll give it a bit earlier, but you can have a holiday for now anyway. I'm not going to give you a thing to do in the holiday. Okay, let's save that one. So let's clear the screen. I'll give you one to try yourself first, maybe, because I want to give you a harder one as well. So let's clear the screen. So example 3, is it? So I might give you a simple one to do. I'll do this now before I do a harder one. So x squared, so y equals x squared minus 8x plus 5. Okay, so I'm going to give you, say, 5 minutes to do this. And you can put the answer in the chat box. I want you to give me the vertex here. I'm not going to give a score for this one, but you try to put in a number for the vertex. So I want you to change that in the form y equals a x minus h squared plus k. And the vertex is hk. Right, so you try that yourself for about 4 minutes, 4 to 5 minutes. And if you do get an answer, put it in the chat box so I can check your work. Okay, so do that for 5 minutes. If you're stuck, you're just going to have to wait and listen to me, or just have a go and see what happens. So try to think about what I just talked about, because now the page is gone. You can go to the line group and look at the one from this morning if you want. Okay, go to the line group and check the PDF there if you want to check that. So you can have a few minutes to try yourself first. So your middle number's -8, just to help you a bit. So you got -8. So halve and square that. You'll get 16. This is your special number. So that needs to go back into here. Add it in here, subtract it, and add your 5 back, then complete square. Okay, any answers? Oh, I got one answer. Keep going. You can use your photo math, which I'm going to do because I want to see what the answer is, because I just made this question up. Okay, so if you put your photo math and take a photo of that question, it will actually give all the information that you need. And it gives you the vertex form, it gives you the X-intercepts, Y-intercept, axis of symmetry, many things. So you can check with your photo math the answer, okay? Okay, so the answers I've been given are correct. Okay. So the ones that you gave me are correct. So let's take a look. So we're going to add our 16 back to this equation. We'll subtract the 16 and then we'll add 5. Okay, so you can keep trying. I know there's more answers coming in. So just follow. So now we'll write this in a complete square form. X minus 4, follow the sign, minus 4 all squared. Root 16 is 4. That's the quick way. Minus 16 plus 5, that's going to be minus 11, isn't it? Okay, so your vertex is going to be x minus h. So h is 4 and minus 11. So 4 minus 11 for your x-intercept. Now, if you want to get your, sorry, for your vertex. So if you want your x-intercept, let's do that. So to find your x-intercept, we let y equal 0. So you can do this. X squared minus 8x plus 5. So you could use this formula and then use the quadratic formula, right? And then you'll get your 2 values here. So this is method 1. So you could do this way to get your quadratic formula, to get your x-intercept using the quadratic formula. But because you already have this in complete square form, I will do it this way. So we write y equals x minus 4 squared minus 11. So we'll let y equal 0 again. So this is method 2. So I'll put 0 in there for y, x minus 4 squared minus 11. So let's put the 11 over. So x minus 4 squared equals 11. So x minus 4 will be plus or minus root 11. And then you bring the 4 over. So you're only doing thing that you did like 4 or 5 weeks ago. So every unit or every topic will build on itself. So this is one way to get your X-intercept, or you can do it with your quadratic formula and you'll get the same answer up here if you do with quadratic formula as well. So there's 2 ways to get your X-intercept, and Y-intercept is 5. So to get the Y-intercept, we let x equal 0, if you like. I don't have space for that. But yeah, you can graph that as well. You could draw that graph. I won't graph it because I'm short on space. So let's do another one. Okay, let's make it a little bit more tricky with the fraction. Oh, let me show you the harder one first. So I'm going to show you this one. Whoops, did I save it? Save. Okay, so let's do a harder one now. This one has a number in front of x squared, 2x squared, plus 6x minus 2. Now remember, when you had equations like this, so 2x squared plus 6x minus 2, to get rid of the 2, you divided by 2. Remember you did that? You divided by 2, but you can't do that here because you have y. So you're not able to do this method that you did a few weeks ago, because now you're going to have y on 2. It's a function, it's not an equation. So we can't do this method. So what we're going to have to do, we will change to black. We will factorize this bit here. I usually just factorize the first 2 terms. I leave this last term by itself. So leave that guy there by himself. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to factorize this and take out 2 as the common factor. So take out 2, x squared plus 3x minus 2. So you see that nothing has changed, has it? So these are equal, right? I didn't change the equation, but now I can do my complete square here now, because now I have an x squared, not 2x squared. You can't complete square when you've got this number sitting here. So our special number will come from this. So this is 3, halve that number and square it. You'll get 9 on 4. So let me just highlight that. So that's this 3 here. So halve it and square it, you'll get 9 on 4. So that's the number that you need to add back into your equation here, inside the bracket, not outside. So it is a little bit more tricky, this method, and we're going to do it again in grade 10. So we got y equals 2 x squared plus 3x plus 9 on 4 minus 9 on 4, close bracket, minus 2. You see, everything's the same, nothing's changed, it's still equal, all the same, except it looks different now. So I did that now because now I can complete my square here, this bit here. So I actually want this into a separate bracket. So there's going to be another bracket I'm going to put in here. All right, I'll write that down. So we've got y equals 2. I'll make this curly bracket a square bracket. So then I'll make this as x plus the square root of 9 on 4 is 3 on 2, all squared. So that red bit become this bit here. And now I have a minus 9 on 4 Now turn this into a square bracket, minus 2. So again, nothing's changed. It's still the same equation. If you simplify back, you'll get this. Nothing's changed. It just is looking different. So now I've got a thing to do with this 2. So now you've got a 2 and you've got this bracket here, but I don't actually want this square bracket anymore. So I'll multiply the 2 back into both parts here. So that will give y equals 2 bracket x plus 3 on 2 squared. Never go inside this complete square, leave it in the front. Minus, now 2 times minus 9 on 4, that 2 will cancel the 4 to give 2. So minus 9 on 2 here. And then you got a minus 2 here from this one. So again, nothing's changed. It's still the same equation. Y equals 2 bracket x plus 3 on 2 squared minus 9 on 2 minus 4 on 2. I did that, so now I have a common denominator with the 2. You see that? Which is a good trick to learn when you don't have a calculator. So x plus 3 on 2 squared, 9 minus 4 minus 13 on 2. So now I have my complete square form. The t will stay out the front. That's your a value, which is positive. So the graph will open upwards. So your vertex is going to be then minus 3 on 2. You see you've got a plus here. So your h value is minus 3 on 2 and minus 13 on 2. So that's your vertex done. And this is actually a really long way to get the vertex. So this is the long method. It is a good method to learn though, to learn how to do this, because it's a good way to be able to draw graphs. It helps drawing graphs, but it's a long way for your vertex. Now remember, we can use your formula to get the vertex. So let's do that. So the line of symmetry formula, let's do the short way. Is x equals minus b on 2a. Okay, so if you actually want this value, we can use this formula. So x is minus b minus 6. You see that? We just go back to the original equation. Minus 6 on 2a. A is 2 here. So you're going to get minus 6 on 4, which is minus 3 on 2. Much quicker, isn't it? So that number is the same as this number here. Okay, minus 3 on 2. So this is the short way, short method for the vertex. And that happens to be the line of symmetry formula. So that gives you minus 3 on 2. Now, there is a formula for this one in your book, and I don't remember it, and I don't bother to learn it. So if you want to get this number here, this one, what you need to do is put this number back into the equation. So y would equal 2 times minus 3 on 2 squared plus 6 times minus 3 on 2 minus 2. And if you simplify that, you'll get this number here. I'm not going to do that, but you can try yourself. Minus 13 on 2. So that will give you the vertex that way as well. So this is the short way for your vertex. Okay. 9, 10, 10, 10, 10 o'clock. So we go until 10 o'clock. So, and of course you can get your X-intercept by your quadratic formula. So let's do that. I'm not going to try and rearrange that because that's kind of messy. So let's get the X-intercept. We let y equals 0. And so we'll make our equation. So 2x squared plus 6x minus 2 equals 0. And then we do our quadratic formula here. So minus b plus or minus b squared minus 4 times a times c. Okay, I didn't write the formula, I'm just putting the numbers in. On to a, 2 2s are 4. So this is the way to get your x-intercept. So minus 6 plus or minus 36 plus 2 2s are 4, 4 4s are 16. So 2 4s are 8, 2 8s are 16, plus 16 on 4. So minus 6 plus or minus the root 52 on 4. And you can simplify that yourself. But these would be the x-intercepts. That's how you get the x-intercept. That's one way with your quadratic formula. Okay, there's many ways to get your x-intercept, but this is probably the easiest one for this question. And you can rearrange this equation too. You can put 0 here and rearrange it. You'll get the same answer. Okay, I'll save this page and I'll post it. Okay, so let me get you to do one by yourself. Just make sure that's okay. So let's do another question. Okay, so let me write one down. Y equals minus 9, no, x squared. Let's make it, let's keep it fairly easy. So x squared minus 7x plus 3. Okay, so you calculate your vertex. And you can also do your x-intercept. So if you get your vertex, put it in, and your x-intercept here. Just two numbers like 3 minus 4 or whatever they are. So put these in your chat box when you're finished. I'll give you 5 minutes to work on it. Do your complete square here. So change it into the form ax minus h squared plus k. All right, so I'm not giving score for this, but just try and put it in this form here. This is your chat box here. So put in the vertex. You can write vertex, bracket, x-intercept, and just two numbers here. You can make them a decimal if you want. I don't have my calculator though to check them, but you can put them in there. Okay, I'll give you 5 minutes for that because we're already at 9:50. So try that one. And I'll do the answer in a minute. And so you can check with your photo math. So you can do like me, take a photo. You can install a photo math. It can't do everything, but yeah, you're going to get fractions in this question, okay? If you like, you can put your x-intercept as a decimal. That's probably easier to type in. All right, try that for 5 minutes. We may do a bit more in the start of the semester one, maybe a couple of periods to tidy up. So you may get another worksheet on this topic, but it will be following this anyway. I'm going to make some new workbooks for semester 2. So we don't do every chapter in the book because I don't like the way some of the work has been presented. So I'll send you some of my own books, but you'll know because I'll send it to you. So if you don't have a printer, it would be a good idea to get a printer during the holiday. I recommend a tablet. You don't have to get an expensive tablet if you don't have a tablet yet. You can get a cheap tablet just for schoolwork. And when we go back to school, you may be able to use the tablet in the classroom. So if you don't have a tablet, you'll have to work in the textbook. But we'll see about that later. So any answers yet for the vertex? I got one. So I'll give you a couple more minutes. So let me see what we got. Pepper pin, minus 37 on 2. Are you sure? Try minus 37 on 4. So check your Y value there. Yeah, this one's got fractions, so you need to be a little bit careful. So I'll do it slowly. You can keep trying yourself. So our number here is minus 7. Yeah, minus 49 on 4 and 3. Yeah, let's take a look. So it might be a bit confusing for some of you. So we've got minus 7. So you take that number, we halve it and square it. We get 49 on 4, don't we? Okay, so now we're going to change this equation to be y equals x squared minus 7x plus 49 on 4 minus 49 on 4 plus 3. So bring your 3 down and remember to add and subtract this special number here. So now we can complete the square here. So you're going to have y equals x minus the square root of 49 on 4 is 7 on 2, all squared. 49 on 4. The 3 I'll change to 12 on 4 here, okay? Like that. So now I can add that fraction easily. So y equals x minus 7 on 2 squared. That's going to be, what's that, 30 minus 37 on 4, correct? Yeah, minus 37 on 4 here. So your vertex is going to be x minus h. H is 7 on 2. And whatever this number is. So minus 37 on 4. Okay, you get that? So if you haven't, I'll send a file anyway. You'll see it soon. But remember, files in line only last about a week or so. They don't last very long. So you should go to the line and download to your computer or your phone. I recommend put line on the computer if you don't have it already. So when you go to line in your PC or your laptop, you can save directly to your computer. Because you may see this again at the start of semester 2. I might send you a few to do, and you can follow these examples here. You may need some more examples, so I'll see later what we're going to do. Just keep them on your computer. Okay, so for your X-Intercept, let y equals 0. I think I'll just use the quadratic formula. Okay, so we'll have x squared minus 7x plus 3 equals 0. So let's do your quadratic formula. So minus negative b, negative 7, plus or minus negative 7 squared minus 4 times 1 times 3, 4ac, on 2a, 2 times 1. So 7 plus or minus 49 minus 12 on 2. So 7 plus or minus root 37 on 2. And it's looking familiar. They look like the same numbers over here. So this looks like to be the X-intercepts. So 7 plus root 37 on 2, and 7 minus root 37 on 2. So they would have given you, so 6.54. And this one is 0.46. And those would go on your graph if you're graphing. So we'll do that quickly here. So vertex 7 on 2. What's that? 3.5. And minus 37 on 4. I'm not sure where that is, but it's down here somewhere. So 7 on 2 minus 37 on 4. Your Y-intercept is 3. Take a look up there, Y-intercept. That's when X is 0. So we'll get 3. So we're going to go down, up like that somewhere. Pretty bad, but you get the idea. So this here is your X-intercept, 6.54. And that's your other X-intercept there, which is 0.46. Your line of symmetry is X equals 7 on 2 here, that line, and that's your vertex. And your minimum point, minus 37 on 4 for that. So that's your X-intercept section there. So very useful, quadratic formula. You know how to do these already. So you just let y equal 0, and that will give you these 2 points on the x-axis, because that's 6.540, 0.460, like that. So you're going to get a lot more practice in grade 10 on graphing. But they're fairly straightforward questions. So it's just practice, isn't it, really? All right, I think we'll stop there because it's 10 o'clock. I don't think we have any more lessons, but you've got homework sheet to hand in. So make sure you finish that today, because I want you to get 100%. And to get 100%, you're going to need to get nearly everything correct. So if you get 1 or 2 wrong, you're only going to get 95. And if you get 4 or 5 wrong, then you're going to drop to 75. And if you get half of them wrong, you'll get about 50, around half. So you should attempt to try to get everything correct and show the working in the sheet too. So if you haven't shown the working, that can lose your points too if you're missing stuff. Okay, I'll save this file. All right, and I'll stick these into the line now. So you go to download them. All right, so I'm going to talk to you soon, I hope. And so have your new textbook ready, and then we'll see what's going to happen in semester 2. Hopefully we'll get back to school and be able to do some stuff at school rather than online, because it's easier to help there. All right, but if you have a question, you can ask anyway online. I usually answer most hours of the day, except when I'm asleep. All right, I'll talk to you later then, okay? Have a good day, and I'll see you later. Okay, bye-bye.
Goodbye, teacher. Thank you.
Right, have a good day.